the missile tests that the U.S. is conducting. Clearly, we're trying to get Kim Jong-un's attention. Is it working? Does he pay attention to that kind of thing?
I don't think Kim Jong-un is paying attention. He is a very paranoid man. He's very concerned about Washington and deterring Washington. So when the Trump administration says all options are on the table and we test ICBM missiles, I think we're getting his attention.
We're also getting ready to apparently ratchet even tighter the sanctions that exist on North Korea. Will that be helpful, effective, do you think?
I think it will be helpful. Sanctions have been in place for a couple of years, but strong sanctions have been in place only for about a year. For Iran, it took about 3 years. But North Korea sanctions have not been effective before because of enforcement issue. We don't have enforcement on the ground. So secondary sanctions, I think, is important. But this means probably going after Chinese banks and entities that do illicit business with North Korea, which will then cause strain with Beijing.
Yeah, the Chinese have indicated to President Trump the fact that they are willing to get a little tougher on North Korea. Do you see active signs of that other than blocking the coal shipments, for instance?
I think we need to see, and that's something that will take time, if China is indeed serious this time around. China did, unfortunately, say many times in the past that they will do it and they will enforce sanctions, but we know that China has not been active in that. So we'll have to see if China will really this time, if they mean serious business this time.
The president has held off declaring China a currency manipulator, for instance, because he wants their help with this very problem. Is that a fair trade-off in your view?
Well, I understand that what Trump administration is to do is trying to put maximum pressure on China and also give some incentive, economic incentive to China. But I am not sure. I'm not overly hopeful that China will actually follow through. So I think the Trump administration might be disappointed down the road.
Do you see the North Koreans testing another nuclear device? I mean, they've been trying to test missiles. Those tests, as Chris Wallace was just saying, those tests haven't gone well. But another nuclear device, do you see them taking that provocative step?
Absolutely. I think North Korea will have to follow through with more missile tests and even a nuclear test. What they might consider or reconsider is the key question is, will they test an ICBM? Because that's the critical threshold for the United States, whether they successfully test an intercontinental ballistic missile that can reach mainland United States.
But they have said that they are going to bolster their nuclear force to the maximum. I mean, they really are maintaining this bellicose attitude that it wouldn't seem is warranted on the part of a country that is really not all that strong militarily.
Well, what they have is nuclear weapons, and that's why it's really hard for Kim Jong-un to give that up. And I don't think he will give it up. He staked his entire legitimacy to perfecting this nuclear arsenal that his father and grandfather have pursued at the cost of billions of dollars and millions of lives. And Kim Jong-un himself said this is his mission. So we are in it for a long road ahead, I think.